Introduction. Hello. My name is Ross. I would like to speak to you about the In-House Awakening project. A project that will hopefully, one day, help as many people, from all walks of life, as possible. As you may know, we, as a society, face many issues. Many of us suffering aloud or in silence. The past few years has taken quite a toll on us all. Most of our lives have been full of one type of disaster or another. We're quite desensitized to the outside world because of what we have been through in our years on Earth. So much so that we walk straight past many of the world's problems and just carry on with our day. One of the issues we face is that of those who we walk past on a daily basis. In late 2019 we saw the beginning of the pandemic. Something I was not fully aware of until the world closed. Pre-pandemic, I was running a cleaning company that specialized in deep cleaning commercial and residential property. I was able to have a small staff, a roof over my head, and could afford to clothe and feed my children. I don't watch TV, or news, or listen to mainstream radio. I tended not to be on the internet much either, so I really didn't know how serious things were getting. Christmas 2019 was very good for business, and so I didn't really notice much about work coming to a slow stop. It's usually slow after Christmas anyway. But during this time I still had the many various bills to pay and living expenses. But again, things were okay. Or so I thought. The world closed. The money I had from work dried up due to bills. I didn't take the business loans from the government that most other businesses took. I felt that I would not be able to pay it back. During the lockdown I was trying to save my business, and so I was cleaning supermarkets and giving free consulting to them and other business how to properly clean their premises. I didn't charge for my time and advice as something very serious was happening to the world, and I just wanted to do what I could to help. The advice I gave actually led to the work also stopping. While I was traveling across London to clean supermarkets, I saw many homeless people, more than ever in fact. I did hear that the homeless would be helped by the councils. I did not see this to be true. I began to stop and speak to those who I saw sleeping rough. They would all tell the same story. They revisited my people who took their details, promised help, and were never seen again by the homeless people. Some of those people spoke the same thing I was going through. It wasn't long before I ended up with no business and then nowhere to live. After a while I went to stay with family. I was quite bitter about what was happening in the world and what I was going through. But I couldn't stop thinking about the people we were losing on a daily basis throughout the world, and also those poor people who I spoke to so many times. I realized that my situation was nowhere near as bad as many others were. I decided that I would begin to do what I can to try to help people. There are many that don't want the help, but even more that need it. Today I want to speak to you about making huge changes to the system. To take it upon ourselves to fix the issues we face. To really help those who are in desperate need of help. Eventually the project will be there to help anyone who needs help and wants to transform their lives. But in order for that to happen, we need to start saving the future of those who are out there right now, whether it's the homeless person with drug problems and mental health issues, or the teenagers who are in gangs and at risk of arrest or death. We never know who we will save. We can begin to build a beautiful future by changing the paths of people going down a negative road to one of positivity, and bring them back to the world. Show them that someone does care, that there is hope of getting out of bad situations and living life. The homeless issue. For this part of the project, I intend to obtain properties and turn them into halfway houses, wellness centers. Once open, we can begin to go onto the street and find those in desperate need. Having these properties will give the project somewhere to bring the homeless, and give them temporary accommodation until permanent residence is found for them. Whilst they are staying in the project house, they will be given help with all their problems, drug, mental health issues, physical health issues, and whatever else they're suffering with. They will also be introduced to many practices. meditation, mindfulness, yoga, tai chi, gardening and learning to grow their own food, music therapy, art therapy and again, many other helpful practices. They will also be given training on things such as basic computer skills, cooking, access to courses, help with finding employment. Once we have rehoused those we saved from a life on the streets, we will continue to provide help and support in order to ensure their needs are met. To make the project a success, we need to pull together as a society to understand that we are strong enough and have the potential to change the world for the better. I will need volunteers in many fields in order to make this happen. Starting from now and for the future, I need as many people as possible to donate, either financially, in an advisory capacity technically or any other way possible to bring much needed focus to the project and my aims. Also, volunteers who know about grants, fundraising and any other ways to generate money for the project. Housing officer, benefits officer, drugs and alcohol abuse counselors, mental health professionals, physical health specialists, lawyers, teachers, surveyors, construction experts, for renovation purposes, gang-related, intervention personnel, meditation, yoga, tai chi, Wing Chun practitioners, music therapist, art therapist, mindfulness coach, education professionals, work goals coach, health and fitness professionals, street team volunteers, computer training staff, DJs, MCS, music production experts, music historians, as many genres as possible, especially music of the last 3 decades, frequency field specialists, educational purposes. The list will eventually grow much bigger, but that's where we all come in. The more we pull together, the more we can do to make positive change. The Off-Road Project. Another part of the project. The Off-Road Project will be there to help tackle the issues that our youths face. As you may be fully aware, for as many years as we have lived, youths have always been led down the wrong path. We live in a very fast-paced world controlled by the need for family stability and money. Sadly, there are many who do not have anything even close to such luxury. Many young people who come from broken homes end up hanging around the street in gangs, many of them getting involved in criminal activities from dealing drugs, violence, murder, and all else that gang life has to offer. There is very little for them to do. The In-House Awakening Project, the Off-Road Project, will create safe learning environments to help tackle the issues they face. Once registered with the project, youngsters will have access to music programs. We will teach them about the history of music, how to create their own music from beginning to the end production. They will also be introduced to many of the practices that the project offers. Meditation, yoga, mindfulness ECT. These classes will be mandatory in order for them to have access to music equipment and training. Through these sessions, youngsters will be taught that they have a better chance of living a positive life and doing something amazing. We will focus on drawing them away from criminal activities and teaching them skills they can use in the real world. Alongside of the positive classes and music classes, they will be helped with obtaining employment. If required, they will have access to courses and given any other help they may need. We can turn the lives around for many young people who may have stuck to the wrong path had it not been for the project. But to make such dreams a reality, it's down to us to see the changes that can be made, the possibilities of those who we can help. The future isn't just for those who come after us. It's also ours to make better for everyone. Project users and the general public therapy. There will be many ways to help the people who are staying in the project homes, or in any other place that the project operates. Eventually, the project will be there to help as many people from all walks of life. Many of us are all suffering from one thing or another. It seems half the nation is medicated and the other half needs medicating. Whilst I do understand that some people definitely need meds to live, this is not the case for all. So the project will also be there for people in therapeutic ways too. With art, music, and gardening at the top of the list. We will also eventually be creating self-help and healing content which will include many positive practices for people to use that will help to transform their lives for the better. I have much more to say on these and many other subjects regarding our future. But I will await your response to my proposal. I hope we can work together towards something amazing for the people who need us right now. Thank you so much for your time today. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing life. Kindest regards. Ross.